Hello and welcome to Select 10. This is the 15th part of our 2022 video on the best new web series, and just like before, we're here to provide you with the best list of the top 10 new web series, which you shouldn't miss. The list includes new sci-fi shows, action-adventure shows, epic fantasy shows, and much more, so watch the entire video to avoid missing any series on the list. Now let's start the video. Number 10. The Watcher. It is a mystery thriller series created by Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan. The show centers on the real-life story of Dean and Nora, a couple who settle into their new house, and all appears to be going smoothly until a strange envelope shows up in the mailbox. Their joy at moving in turns into a nightmare when a stranger begins mailing them frightening letters and claims to have been keeping watch over the house for the past 20 years. What follows next is a wave of fear as the family feels afraid in their new house, and Dean keeps seeing what seems to be another neighbor monitoring them while refusing to react when he asks them a question. The series ends with no explanations, so if you can't take seeing something so fascinating with its plot twists and then not having a proper ending, then The Watcher isn't really for you. If that's not the case, then this might end up being one of your favorite Netflix show of the year. And the show has a 6.5 rating on IMDb and a 55% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 9. Shantaram. It is a drama thriller series based on the book of the same name by Gregory David Roberts. The series takes place in the 1980s and follows the story of Lynn Ford, who successfully escaped from an Australian jail where he was serving time for burglary. Ford then travels to Bombay, where he works as a dummy doctor and courier for the Bombay underworld. Lynn tries to leave behind his old life in India, but he soon becomes entangled in the country's criminal underworld and the fight with Russian soldiers moving into Afghanistan. But as much as he craves freedom, his life becomes more difficult when he falls in love with the strange woman, Carla, causing him to descend even deeper into the criminal underworld. Overall, it is a well-written, slow-paced, gripping drama that depicts a realistic look at poverty, bribery, and criminal networks in the 1980s crime underworld. And the show has a 7.6 rating on IMDb and an 81% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 8. Garcia. It is a sci-fi action-adventure series directed by Eugenio Mira. The plot centers on teenage reporter Antonia, who unintentionally defrosts Garcia, a secret agent built in the 1950s by the Francoist spy agencies, and finds herself caught up in a complex political system. Meanwhile, after being cryogenized for years, Garcia awakens and finds himself in a divided contemporary world where he is perceived as a potential tool of military dictator government. In order to understand what's happening, he takes Antonia's assistance to fit in and must choose his allegiances in the midst of a plot to overthrow the Spanish government. With its smooth mix of humor and suspense, this 6-episode season of gripping and fast-paced espionage action will surprise you and take you on an epic adventure. And the show has a 6 rating on IMDb and an 83% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 7. The Playlist. It is a real-life drama miniseries inspired by the book Spotify Untold, written by Sven Carlson and Jonas Legenhufvud. The plot centers on Daniel Ek, a young businessman who discovers market potential amid the conflict between the big players in the entertainment industry and music piracy. In an unsettling music industry, Daniel suddenly sees a never-before-seen possibility and chooses, along with his strategic partner Martin Lorentzen, to create a free, authorized music streaming app. The show focuses on how Spotify founder Daniel and his business partner Martin Lorentzen transformed the music market by offering free and authorized music streaming. This series may not be for everyone, but if you enjoy stories about tech pioneers, you will like this one. It is an extremely interesting and inspiring story, with just the right amount of twist and drama to maintain your interest. And the show has a 7.5 rating on IMDb and an 89% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 6. The English. It is a Western drama series directed by Hugo Blick. The story is set in 1890 and revolves around Lady Cornelia Locke, an Englishwoman who travels to Wyoming seeking revenge against the man she believes killed her son. While there, she unintentionally encounters Eli Whip, a former Army Ranger who is moving to Nebraska to retrieve the property he is entitled to as compensation for his time in the U.S. military. Both of them are aware of their mission, but neither realizes that they have a common past that will shake them to their very souls. The story switches back and forth between their journey and the struggles of Englishman Thomas Strafford, who wants to succeed in America by running a horse ranch but encounters opposition at each attempt. Overall, the series is excellent and hold your attention with its epic grandeur and gripping vengeance storyline, backed by Emily Blunt's great acting. And the show has an 8 rating on IMDb and a 75% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 5. Interview with the Vampire. It is a horror vampire series based on the 1976 novel of the same name by Anne Rice. The plot features Louis de Pointe du Lac, Lestat de Lioncourt, and Claudia as they tell reporter Daniel Molloy their legendary story of love, vengeance, and the consequences of eternity. The main plot focuses on Louis, who is frustrated by the restrictions of living as a black man in the early 20th century and cannot refuse Lestat's invitation to become his vampire sidekick. However, Louis's tempting new abilities come with a dangerous consequence, and the arrival of Lestat's youngest vampire offspring, Claudia, soon sends them on a torturous journey of vengeance and redemption. However, things get intense as the interview goes on, and Molloy unearths the underlying realities of Louis's claims. This show might not be for everyone, but fantasy genre fans will enjoy it. And the show has a 7 rating on IMDb and a 75% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 4. The Sex Lives of College Girls. Season 2 of the last year's most popular teen comedy drama is here, and in case if you are new to this show, let me give you a quick overview. The plot centers on 4 first-year university roommates who are introduced as they move into the famous Essex College in New England. While Whitney, Kimberly, and Bella are truly thrilled to share a room together, Leighton, the 4th student, is less happy because she had assumed she would be living with 2 high school classmates. However, as most roommates do, they end up connecting and understanding that they must enjoy each other's company no matter what. The story unfolds as the 4 friends struggle with their physically active lifestyle and the difficulties of education. On the other hand, in Season 2, we see the girls arrive from their festive vacation to room 104, where a charming new roommate has recently moved in next to them. While on campus, they encounter new difficulties as they try to finish their first semester. If you like Netflix's Sex Education, you'll likely appreciate this show as well, since it has a similar vibe. Season 2 is off to a wonderful start and is as entertaining as ever. And the show has a 7.8 rating on IMDb and a 98% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 3. 1899. It is an epic period mystery sci-fi series created by Janch Friis and Baron Booda. The story takes place in 1899 and centers on a bunch of European immigrants who are sailing from London to New York City on the ship Kerberos to create and build new lives. And here's the catch: 4 months ago, its sister ship Prometheus mysteriously vanished on the very same journey. Now with passengers on board, Kerberos unexpectedly encounters a second migrant vessel that is seemingly deserted and floating at sea. In order to investigate, the Kerberos captain and one of the passengers, Mora, enter the ship, but what they discover on board turns their journey into a terrifying reality. This interaction exposes a complex chain of mysteries, many of which are unique to the travelers, which indicates that they are all escaping something. Some people are criticizing this show as being a little slow, and to an extent I agree, but that can be easily overlooked in front of the spectacular mind-bending plot that you should not miss for the world. And the show has a 7.7 rating on IMDb and a 75% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 2. Tulsa King. It is a crime drama series created by Taylor Sheridan. The series focuses on the General Manfredi, who recently served a 25-year prison term, who keeps to the rule of not tipping off your friends and anticipates being well paid upon his return. But when he is released from jail, he isn't welcomed back into the organization, and to his surprise, the new chief in command assigned him to Tulsa, Oklahoma, under the excuse of opening up business in the state, but it's actually just throwing the old guy under the bus. Manfredi, on the other hand, chooses to settle down in Tulsa rather than suffer enforced retirement, and he gradually assembles a crew of odd individuals to assist him in building a new crime syndicate. Overall, Tulsa King has a great start and is set to deliver an interesting season filled with action, interesting characters, and a great thrilling story. There are presently 3 episodes available, and a new episode is released each week. And the show has an 8.4 rating on IMDb and an 86% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 1. Wednesday. It is a supernatural comedy horror series based on the Addams Family character, Wednesday Addams. The plot centers on Wednesday, who was removed from her last school for playing a life-threatening prank on classmates. Following that, her parents, Gomez and Morticia Adams, enroll her in Nevermore Academy in Jericho, a university for monster misfits that they had previously attended. On the other hand, Wednesday's distant attitude makes it hard for her to bond with other students and causes her to anger the head of school. But when she learns that a horrible murderous rampage has plagued the town, she makes an effort to control her growing psychic power in order to uncover the strange mystery while managing her brand new complicated relationships at Nevermore. It is a thrilling supernatural murder mystery, perfectly paired with dark humor that will leave you craving for more. But Jenna Ortega, who delivered the most outstanding performance of Wednesday Addams, is the best part of the show. And the show has an 8.5 rating on IMDb and an 88% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. That's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. And do subscribe our channel to see more videos related to movies and series suggestions.